I found the slides.
Go ahead.
Okay. And I
Mhm.
want to say before I get too far into this, because I found the separation one that's stupid. And then I found the other one of like their priorities. And we'll get to that
Yeah.
after. But they also,
Good.
and the clip has gone viral of this, where
Mhm.
he said they brought in Alan Horn, Zazzy Boy brought in Alan Horn, and that their goal is to copy Marvel. They tried that over
Sure.
the last 10 years with what's called the DC extended universe,
Mhm.
and it hasn't worked. You're trying to copy something that is uncopyable. It will never happen again. We'll never get a universe as well thought out. Even if the magic's gone, baby, you can't argue how well thought out, well crafted, creative, and unique it is. It will never happen again. It's the Star Wars of this time. Sorry, DC. Your focus should be on the Batman and more of that. So here's their unique and complementary. Man, you are one needy cat right now, bruh. So here's their unique and complimentary slide. It says HBO Max will be male skewed, scripted, lean in, appointment viewing, and home of fandoms and quotes. Discovery
Mhm.
Plus will be female skewed, unscripted. It'll lean back, comfort viewing, home of genredoms. Um, I've seen a lot of backlash about how Zazzy Boy, when he took over, said he was going to really make a diverse room and that he fired women and people of color and minorities and has exclusively only hired older white males. And I've seen a
Mhm.
lot of people, critics, people I follow in the Twitter sphere that I think are really good in Hollywood as critics and content creators and things like that, who have had to go into debates because of people who are like, that's not what they're doing. I think it is what they're doing a bit. I mean, that's writing's on the wall. I mean, you're telling me there wasn't one woman you want to bring on? You're going to have a Discovery Plus completely skewed towards women and you're not going to have a woman over there? Like, also, you're telling me women can't like scripted content? Women can't lean in. Women don't want appointment type viewing, whatever the heck that even means. Or men can't do the opposite, and they don't. They you tell me they don't like unscripted content? It's
Shark
sexist
Week.
and it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's gross. And how are you saying that you're going to make this 10-year plan? You're going to copy Marvel with your DC universe. You're going to do all this stuff, and you still are 10 years behind the game, 20 years behind the game. I don't get it. You want to speak on this? Bro, you got it. You got to calm down, bro.
He's talking to me, folks. Definitely not the cat in
No, the
his room.
cat. You speak. I can still hear you. I'm going to go double check this little guy's got water.
Yeah. No, that is frustrating. Initially when he was coming on board, I was really hoping that this would be a good guy to be able to helm the Warner Bros side of things, the theatrical side of things. Just being able to just think about the content rather than think about like the numbers aspect of it all. But
He's got
I'm
plenty.
kind of worried that this is becoming like a numbers game, and in doing so, they're not thinking about people, and that people part ties into like who he hired. Like clearly, he despite saying like diverseness of it all, yada yada, that's just not gonna be coming to fruition. So that part onto itself is also frustrating to me. Yeah, those types of diagrams, those types of ways to figure out like your main demographics and this and that, it feels very old school, and it feels really pathetic, to be
It's
honest. It just,
disgusting. How is
yeah,
Disney
it's
ahead of you
very
on this?
frustrating.
Disney's the
Yeah,
one who
that
gets
and
crapped on the most, and they're
yeah, no
everybody for
kidding.
10 years. I've heard Disney will never make a streaming service and definitely never put R-rated content on it. Guess what Disney did? They put R-rated content because our boy's a number guy, and the numbers say that they don't. That kids can handle it. They can handle having Daredevil somewhere they can't find on the streaming site. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, you want to get to the? Did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Do you have more
No,
on that, or do
I
you
was
want me
just
to
gonna
get to
add on
the?
the D.
Go ahead.
You
Go
go.
ahead.
What were you gonna say?
No, you go. Add on. I was just gonna move on to the global powerhouse, like their main focus stuff. But finish your thought.
Oh, that might tie into the DC stuff I was gonna mention, but yeah, it's just nothing. Something else that was also frustrating was just hearing them go, "Oh, we gotta 10-year plan for DC. We're gonna get our own Feige to switch things up a little. And I just am
They don't
like,
even
oh
have their own
God, not
Feige. They
this.
brought in
Not this
yeah.
crap again. No one has their own Feige. We literally had a podcast episode talking about how Kevin Feige is a freaking unicorn. There's no other guy like
Who
him. There's
look,
there's no
Kevin
other guy who
Feige
has the credentials and the experiences that he has, and the love for
and the
this type of
failures.
genres as well. Like no one in the business world is that. There could be many years down the road. It's possible. There's a lot
There
of
will
younger
never be.
people who could become business people simply because they learned about Feige and they learned about MCU movies. But it's not happening anytime soon. They need to stop thinking that they can make this grand plan the same way Marvel does and just make movies. I've liked what this last DC regime has done with the likes of Shazam, with the likes of Batman, Joker. Like, at least it's stuff that stands on their own and it's enjoyable at the same time. I don't have to think about how it all connects. I don't care about connectivity anymore. I have that with Marvel, and Marvel is in
And
a
you
weird point
already
right
hate
now,
it.
but at least the content is still there. At least people still like it, so fair enough. But at least they have that part in their own little bubble. Go make your own bubble. Go do something else. It's not just it's not just DC, it's for all these other types of studios. I feel like other types of studios have stopped doing this. Like after the MonsterVerse, after
Oh, the
all the Transformers
Monsterverse.
verse,
Bring it
like
back.
they've learned to stop doing it. Sony still needs to learn that a little with their Spider-Man stuff personally, um but
Oh,
yeah,
they got no other
DC, you
options.
do have, this stuff will make you money, obviously, but don't worry about the connectivity stuff because we have seen that as long as they're good and as long as it's within that superhero genre, people are going to go out and see it. They haven't gotten tired of it yet. So just make the movies. It's fine.
Yeah.
It
And
really is okay.
made
Unless if it's good, then
okay
fine.
movies
But
Kevin Feige made okay movies, like the first couple Fantastic Four and things like that as a producer.
produce
He
them,
got
yeah.
lucky. He came in and said, "Let me do this Iron Man," had a vague plan in the back of his brain, then said, "Okay, how about, Marvel, Disney at the time, who had him first? Who was it, Fox? Or is it Paramount? Who
Paramount.
had him for Paramount? That he was like, let me just see what we can do with this. Let me throw a little after credit scene. We'll do a Hulk movie after that, and then
Mhm.
he said, okay, let's just try this phase one. If this works, this will be phase one, and then we'll figure out phase two as we go. And as phase one was working, then they figured it out. They didn't sit there and go, 10 years, we're gonna strategically put everything out and we're gonna make it happen. That's not what Kevin Feige did. That's not what he does still. He if you guys, you Marvel actual shills, go look at all of the past Comic Cons and look how many things actually didn't happen. There are movies we were
Inhumans.
supposed to get in Humans that we never got. Like, what are we doing here? Like, pay attention. Anyway, back to Zazzy Boy here. He's seems like an idiot. So here's their. I'll read off. We'll go one at a time here. So they put up this slide: brands, franchises, iconic series and characters, and international. The international are all just companies I don't know. We'll start with iconic series and characters. And these are things they're going to focus on. Okay. This is what they said their main focus and priorities are.
Mhm.
Friends, which are we getting a reboot here? Are we getting a little spin off like How I Met Your Father, which was fine first season. It was a good first season. Fixer Upper, the Big Bang Theory, which is fair because I know the Big Bang Theory, the Young Sheldon show is watched and loved. Um,
There's a lot of
Property
subscribers for that.
Brothers, what is this? Drivers, Dine-ins, and Drives or whatever, and Sex in the City are their big iconic series and characters. Okay, their franchises. This to me this is pathetic. They say Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Shark Week, Game of Thrones, 90 Day Finance Universe, and the Wizarding World
Fiance,
of Harry
90 Day
Potter.
Fiance.
Is that what it says? I can't read. It's
Yeah,
a
90
little
Day
blurry.
Fiance.
It does say fiance. I apologize. Um, to me, the fact that you've separated Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman as three separate things as your franchises is a problem. It's a problem. You know why? Because if you go to go find your dad, if he's a comic book fan, go find any 50, 60-year-old comic book fan, an older comic book fan, and say, hey, did you ever think Iron Man would be a household name? And they'll say, no. But Kevin Feige, you want Kevin Feige's plan? Why don't you have Green Lantern in here? Go make him a household name. And he's already bigger than Iron Man would have been. Like, what are we talking about here? And in this conference, they said that they're going to distance themselves from Snyder and they're going to make Superman a focal point. Great. Bring Henry Cavill back. That'll be one bright spot. Do you want to touch on this real quick before we get to the brands?
Um, well, based on what you just listed right now, I can already tell you that they're hoping to not only make some of their WB brands and HBO brands prevalent, but also their Discovery brands prevalent on the streaming service as well. Which, okay, is understandable. You just have to advertise that they're on the streaming service. Fine, whatever. But um, it is odd that they are formatting these things like how they are in that slide because it just I'm not too sure yet. Maybe you're about to say this as we continue, but it doesn't seem like they know that the thing about HBO and streaming is that it's quality original stuff that people really draw to, and not necessarily all the franchise stuff. So I remember hearing them say that they're
It's
kind of
true.
trying to pull back on how much content is going to be releasing to save on cost, which I think is fair on the cost front, but I hope that they don't do
They're
it
like
too
3
much to
billion in
where
debt
there's
or something.
barely anything new that's happening. And it kind of feels
Yeah.
like they're trying to be a little too reliable on what they have, especially like their discovery content, which is fine that it's on the streaming service. I don't really care, but I still want them to, realize that they're focused on, storytelling and finding like, the new show. And it's not to say you can't have, the franchises still be there. Obviously, they help too, but maybe you're about to change what I say on this, but that kind of has me worried that they're not thinking about that aspect, and they're really thinking that they have very little to work with, despite Warner Media having quite the catalog of things to have.
Look, Superman, Man of Steel made money. It didn't make $1 billion.
Hmm. No,
Wonder Woman made a
doesn't need
billion
to.
dollars. Second Wonder Woman wasn't as good.
Sure.
Brandon Routh's Superman was not good. Sure, we might have a little bit of nostalgia from back in the day for it, maybe a little affinity
No.
for a little fun time, but like it didn't make a lot of money and it wasn't very good. People won't flock to the theater for Superman. They'll flock for a good Superman movie.
Hmm.
Man of Steel's divided. Half fans hate Man of Steel. Half the fans love it. Um, I think I'm more in line with what you're saying here. I want good content, and you shouldn't be afraid of original stuff. Here's the brands. Let's get to the last part
Yeah.
here. HBO, Discovery,
Okay.
CNN,
Okay.
HGTV, Cartoon Network, DC, and the Looney Tunes. I'm going to tell you right now, and maybe it's because I'm high on rereading the Harry Potter books. Just finished Goblet of Fire. Well, yeah, this morning, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
Kyle, it's been decades since I've read these books. I've forgotten
Hmm.
a lot of books knowledge. Movie 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, my favorite movie.
Hmm.
So far through the 4 books, Goblet of Fire, favorite book. Had a blast.
Yeah.
Adored it.
Yeah.
Elite.
Yeah. That's probably one of my
Um,
favorites too.
Harry Potter being so low on that, like not feeling like it's at the end. It's not in your it just is like, hey, here's a franchise, Wizarding World, Harry Potter. Why are we not trying harder with Harry Potter to make it better? Get JK out of there. Get some new, unique filmmakers. Give us real stories. They have the Star Wars problem. I want something that are years away, 100,000 years in one direction or the other, future or the past, except I still low key would be down for just a Dumbledore movie because I think Jude Law is awesome as Dumbledore. Like, I want the adventures of young Dumbledore and young McGonagall. That'd be incredible. There's a franchise for you. 100 million HBO Max exclusive. I also
Not
stand
wrong.
by it. We will see the Batgirl movie. We'll see it
On
at some point.
VHS.
Yep. I'm serious though. I'm calling it right now. We will see it. We will see the Batgirl movie at some point on HBO or whatever they change it to. Discovery, HBO Plus minus Disney sucks, but we're gonna copy them. That kind of attitude. We will see
Yeah.
it. The Scoob movie, maybe not, but Batgirl, I think we'll see. I think this graphic is idiotic. What are Disney doesn't do this. Disney doesn't. You're copying Disney. You know, if they're the top dog here, and you're copying them, they don't say, "Hey, here's our brands. Where's your anime? Where's that?" You know, they have great
I was gonna bring
anime
that up in a
on
sec.
on HBO. Where's your anime? Where's Jujutsu Kaisen, which is on HBO, which is where you find it in the dub, which is where a lot of people
Mhm.
find it. Where's that? They have the whole Studio Ghibli category, and you're telling me Ghibli is not going to be a focal point franchise? I guarantee you those streams are pretty good. I bet you they're a lot better than some of their documentaries and other stuff they pump out on there. Where like what? I just don't get this. Like Shark Week and Game of Thrones truly might be the actual biggest thing they currently have out of everything, like that I actually hear about all the time. Like Shark Week shows up, everybody loves it. Game of Thrones is still
Yeah,
watched absurdly a lot.
yeah.
Um, like Sex in the City, they just rebooted it. Like all of these, like the Big Bang Theory, Friends, and Sex in the City are mostly reruns. A lot of these are mostly
Mhm,
reruns. Netflix died on the rerun game. Everybody thought it was a great idea. We can just have it in the background. I miss my background show. And then, do you remember this? This is a little side note, but when they lost and they paid that 100 million to keep Friends for 1 year, they lost The Office, they lost all these shows, and they were going to the new
mhm.
new Peacock, which a lot of people like Peacock, which people are where I remember so many people complained and whined. They're taking away my background show. How am I supposed to binge all my shows? This is horrible. This is awful. I'm not going to pay for 900 streaming services. And then they left Netflix.
Mhm.
And Netflix was like, we're going to make original content. Look, the original content game is the way to go, but you do need a little bit of that rewatchability stuff, but you can't die on
Mhm.
that hill. Netflix tried to die on the hill and it got way too expensive and all the studios took them back. But you can't die. HBO can't be like, we're only going to stick with rewatching Friends and Sex in the City. And I mean, I know they've rebooted it, and I know the first season that they redid was liked by the fans. But and Game of Thrones is a different beast entirely. We'll see how the spinoff does at the end of the month here, but you can't die on that hill. You can't die on Superman and this 10-year vision plan. Plans change. Do you know how many
Mhm.
executives you've had? Warner Brothers in the last decade? Like
Yeah.
12. Sorry, Zazzy boy. I don't know if you're going to be around a while. um, but
No, you're
anyway,
absolutely right.
give me some. I'm losing my point here. Give me some direction. What's your thoughts?
No, you're on a good point. It's kind of looping back to what I was saying that I'm worrying that they're not thinking too much about what the bread and about what makes HBO HBO, and that it's the original content that they always deliver on. That the majority of the time is really really good, and it seems like when it comes to the world of streaming, Zaslav is thinking that it's the rewatchability factor that really plays into what makes streaming work. So that's why he's saying brands, his own particular brands, by the way, with the likes of Property Brothers, 90 Day Fiance, whatever you have, and then saying Big Bang Theory and Friends are going to be the bread and butter. When yes and no, like yes, people do want to come home and just watch a little of their favorite shows and TV and not think about the day. But at the same time, there's also an equal amount of people that do want fresh new stories, fresh new ideas, and that's what HBO supplies. And not only HBO, but also what Warner Media has as well. I mean, some of the stuff that they left out here is what HBO Max already has, and that's like you were saying, the Studio Ghibli anime type stuff, but also the Criterion catalog or the TCM or Turner Classic Movie catalog. I almost said TMZ or something, but and I worry that that stuff's going to be going away. And at that point, is there a streaming service that's really going to have that particular stuff, or is Warner Media going to keep that hidden and not have those things be released, kind of like what happened with some of these other HBO projects that were just canceled? Are those never going to see the light of day? Like, they don't seem to really care about physical media anymore. So if you really love whether it's these old movies or these new shows, you better try and find the physicals of it, because who knows if they're going to be on some other streaming service or if they're just not going to have the physical media for you to be able to watch them ever again. So it's a concern. Like I just worry about that.
I saw a tweet. I put it in a chat of ours with our movie pals. I don't know if you saw it, but it was something along the lines of like the worst part of the Warner Brothers issue is all the people who collect physical media now thinking they're just as pompous as they always have been, or something like that. Like, I do
Yeah.
collect physical media, and I love physical media. I don't collect a lot. I try to collect what I think belongs on a shelf.